wake up, utho, jago. Let us do some introspection and find out what are we celebrating. And I will give to you summer wine. Radhe, 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 Radhe Sham. So what's that now? Okay. Then Hari Om, Hari, Hari Om. So I'm always singing God songs anyway. So when people ask me, I tell them that हमारे हर एक गाना भजन है, क्योंकि मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ कि दाने दाने पे लिखा है खाने वाले का नाम, और गाने गाने पे लिखा है गाने वाले का नाम। आग से ही आग बुझे, बाहों में आके देख ले ओ। I sing because I want to make you smile, even if I have an audience of one, vis-a-vis having Salt Lake Stadium or something. For me, it's important to have one person listening to me. When we landed in the airport and I got into the car and I saw the bright lights of Kolkata, even now I have tears in my eyes. A woman is Shakti, and when it's used in the right way and channelized in the right way, we can really make things happen. As Gandhi ji said, be the change you want to see.
Welcome to the latest episode of Straight Up with Shree. Today I sit across an inspiration for not just women of my generation, but my mothers. And when I began the podcast holding my hand after a long round of dialysis, Ma had told me, "Shobai ke korish, Usha Uthup ke pash na." I remember Ma's stories of going to Park Street, the resplendent Park Street as it was in those days, glitzy as ever, going to Trinkas, going to Blue Fox, all the stories she told me of Pam Crane, the Usha Uthup. Here I am sitting before a living legend. Today we talk about, performers and singers, who have an image and a brand. But who else but Usha Uthup started it all? Usha Di, thank you so much for being on Straight Up with Shree.
Hi everybody, namaskar, namaskaram, sat sri akal, salam alaikum. Shree, you have absolutely no idea how fantastic it is to be with you on this show, because I do know it's a really popular show, and I'm glad that you invited me. More than being glad, and I want to say I show my full gratitude and respect and admiration for your mother, who asked you, why didn't you ask me?
Yes, yes.
So I'm really thrilled, and we're both matching, we're both in blue.
We're twinning, as they say in today's parlance.
Yes, I'm wearing blue just like you are.
Yes.
And you have a nose pin, so do I. We have bangles,
yes,
so do you.
Yes.
Absolutely marvelous. I'm so happy that I'm on your show, Shree, because, for me, it's I'm a person who believes in the fact that a woman is Shakti. And when it's used in the right way and channelized in the right way, we can really make things happen.
We can change the world. And, Durga Puja Shumai, this is really the season of the Mother Goddess. The season of the Mother Goddess, not just in West Bengal, but all over the country.
But you know something, sorry, I have to interrupt you here. I'm really not talking about the fact that we can change the world, because we all need to change the little world we live in.
Absolutely.
Our own little world, and that's the most important thing. Because I believe in working from within to the periphery instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very important, because when you set out to change the world, nothing happens. As Gandhi ji said, be the change you want to see.
Absolutely. Important words, and I think a very important spirit on which we begin this show. As I said, I'm excited and butterflies in my stomach, really. But I'm going to do like a rewind. Film it starts with a flashback.
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
Growing up in, like you often describe yourself as the Madrasi girl, right? And, when today we talk about singers, we know this for a fact that, talk about a Sunidhi, talk about a Neha, talk about even a Shreya Ghoshal, who may not be so rock chick, but, all of them are, they have an image, they have, PR consultants. They
Tell me about it.
Brand manager. It's like an entourage, Back in the day, You started your singing career in Chennai, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and Savera Hotel. I happen to know the owner Nina very well.
Ayo, Nina is such a dear friend of
Yes,
mine.
and I've
So
had
Nina,
so many
I
book
hope you're
launches.
watching. Yeah.
Yes, Nina, I hope you're watching. Cheers to you, a very strong woman who's built a community of sisterhood around her. So tell me about how you started, because that Madrasi home and the music you were singing, I mean, obviously your earliest influence was back then, like for my mom's generation, the radio.
As I always
Yeah,
say,
as
the
you
radio
always
is my
say.
biggest
Yeah,
inspiration.
yeah. But how did it happen?
It all happened absolutely by accident, absolutely by chance. And even though they say nothing happens by chance or by coincidence, everything is planned out.
Right.
But at that time, you never thought that it was going to be planned out in that way. Being a South Indian, well, I'm a Madrasi, yes, for sure, but born and brought up in Bombay.
Mumbai.
And married into Kerala and now living in Kolkata. So that makes me truly a Bharatvasi.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I never ever expected that I would take up music as a career or as a profession or being a stage person or being an entertainer, yes. Because I think very early in my life in school, I realized that when my music teacher threw me out of of her class because I didn't fit the bill anywhere. My voice was so bhari, it didn't fit the sopranos or the altos or whatever it was. So for someone like that, I know right from the beginning that I was always the life of the party because I was the quintessential, these days they call it stand-up comedians.
Right.
In those days I just called myself a clown. And I made people laugh and I made with my jokes or with the kind of things that I said and did and the way I sang. So I guess I knew at that time that it would happen, but purely by chance did it happen that we happened to be in Madras and my aunt told me, why don't you get up and sing when we went for a little nightclub jaunt in Madras in a place called Nine Gems.
Nine Gems.
That's right. And in those days it was, nowadays we call it the multiplex.
Right.
In those days it was just Emerald, Sapphire and Blue Diamond. And in the basement was the Nine Gems. It was a small nightclub. So when my aunt told me, why don't you get up and sing? I said, okay. And I got up and sang. And of course, everybody was shocked because there I was in a sari. And I sang a song called Fever. I went like that, never know how much I love you. You never know how much I care. And people were really shocked. Okay, how did this voice emanate from
Emerge.
something like this? Yeah. Then after the show was over, everybody enjoyed it, and the owner, Mr. Vikams, he came up to me and said whether I'd sing for a week, and I asked my aunt, and she said sure. I was really thrilled to be doing this for a week, the stint. And at the end of the week, I got a contract to go and sing in Hotel Savera, which is where now Nina Reddy probably wasn't born at that time, but the rest of the family were.
Yeah.
And so I sang at the Hotel Savera, the Golden Bowl,
Yes.
which for me is still the first time that things really happened for me. Though in those days there was no internet, there was no, the only thing was the print media. You see, so there was no thing like cover her up in television or doing that. Nothing. It was just by word of mouth that people got to know that I was singing over there, and they started filling up the place, and it was really marvelous to have a house full every night. And after that, I went back to Bombay. So actually, Hotel Savera would be the first professional nightclub that I sang in.
Yeah.
And it was really fantastic.
How did the people receive you, Ushadi? A nightclub, somehow, probably it's popular culture, probably it's just the way we've seen it being portrayed. You always think of, women singing in a nightclub to be skimpily clad.
I keep saying that all the time.
Yeah.
Usually you think that everybody first of all, it was the privilege and the prerogative of the so-called Anglo-Indian to be singing in a nightclub, wearing their lovely slinky black numbers.
And the bouffant.
And everything that goes with it, the glamorous, sexy image, which I had none of actually.
Exactly.
So it was really strange that when I went onto the scene, I was singing in a sari, and I think that, in fact, it was the timing. I think in 1969, 68, 69, when people were expecting what you just spoke about a nightclub, the preconceived idea that nightclubs were only meant, first of all, for skimpily dressed girls and who were doing cabaret. I did cabaret too. I still do cabaret. Whenever you perform in a nightclub and you're doing a floor show, it's a cabaret. It doesn't. Frank Sinatra did it. Ella Fitzgerald did it. It's always Lisa Minnelli. We're all cabaret singers. You see. So what happened was that the timing, when I say the timing was just right, when people thought that nightclub was only to be, what shall I say, attended by the men, not the women.
Right.
And, bad girls go there, kind of thing. And there I was singing with my one parandi and choti and, gajra in my hair and looking like the girl next door, clean scrubbed and that kind of look. Much like how I look now, except for the grey hair and the extra kilos of fat. But that's not the thing. But even then, I was a very, very simple person, but I still had my bindi, I still had my earrings. They may not have looked exactly like this, because the bindi has changed in its size, in its taste, in its the way it's been done, and things like that. And also my bangles. In those days, I got bangles for, say, 6 rupees a dozen, or not even 6, I think 4 rupees a dozen. Now, I mean, it costs the earth to buy good bangles. And so, but I always wore bangles even in those days. And except for the fact that the saris have changed in their price and their look and things like that. My first gift, or shall I say, my first payment was a Kanjivaram sari, which was given to me at 9 gems. And so it was quite strange, actually, that I was happy with all that. And I still believe, that it's, what my father said. If you ask 3 questions of yourself at any time, at any point of crisis, and this is for everybody who's watching Straight Up with Shree. If at any point of time you get into a crisis or just like that, you can just ask 3 questions and answer them honestly, and you'll be on the way, on the right path. Who am I? Where did I come from? And where am I going?
Beautiful.
Yeah, and truly, when even now when I ask myself, who am I? I say, Usha Uthup. Where did I come from? Such meager, very frugal living, simple living and high thinking.
Right.
And I won't say poor, but middle class.
Middle class.
Yeah. And I got paid I was the highest paid singer at that time, even after I came to Calcutta, was 1,500 rupees. And that was not for one show, it was for the whole month of singing. So now what am I getting? So who am I? Where do I come from? I come
Where
from.
am I going?
So I got 1,500 rupees. Today, if I get an X amount, say for example 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs or whatever it is, I mean nothing compared to Arijit and Shreya and all that. But then what I'm getting at is, if I ask myself, what was I? What did I get? What am I getting today? Or how did I look? How am I looking today? How did I sing? How am I singing today? What home did I get at that time? Did I have air conditioners? No. Did I have cars? No. What am I getting today? I have all these luxuries. So besides the fact that I'm grateful to God, when you ask yourself the question, and where am I headed? Same place you're headed. We're all going there, sometime or the other. Some people quicker, some people far later. But we're all headed at the same place. We can't take nothing with us, right? I just feel that, I'm sure this would be in one of your questions for sure. But the newer generation, I mean, they work hard for it, just like I did. But they're also in the body race.
Right.
They're so
they will look a certain way,
and it's so important for them how they look, how they work out, and I didn't do all those things. I didn't, because I didn't know about it. I don't even remember my father or mother ever telling me, go take a walk, or why don't you walk? No, nothing. We just grew up, as my father would say, like weeds. We just grew up just like that because, like most of us,
Right.
most of us
Right.
people who are middle class
Middle
people,
class, absolutely.
we don't have a regimen, and other time we didn't even know about gym and this and that and
Right, right,
workout
right,
and.
right.
But so you see, the point I'm trying to make all the time is that I'm a happy person from
Right,
within.
right, right.
And you can only be happy if you're comfortable in your skin from where you've come from.
Absolutely. I think contentment comes from self-compassion, it comes from self-acceptance.
And most importantly, introspection.
Introspection, yes, reflection,
Yes.
absolutely.
And if you can truly introspect, like I do after every show, I spend, it's difficult, especially if it's a really successful show, it becomes even more difficult. I keep asking myself when I'm unwinding, I say, did I say the right things? Was I good? Did I sing this song properly?
Right.
Did I get the right kind of audience?
right.
Did I say the right things to my audience? Did I sing properly with my musicians? Were we in sync? There are so many things I keep unwinding with.
Yes,
And
yes.
most importantly, I'm not frustrated. I mean, sometimes when one does think that, after working for 55 years, I mean, people are cribbing to pay you even 1 lakh or 2 lakh, whatever. Didi Koredan, and if you live in Bengal,
Yeah, it's
you get no
always,
money.
yeah,
You never
yeah.
get any money anyway.
I remember hearing in an interview, Ushadi, that when you were sort of growing up, Kolkata and Goa seemed to you like,
Foreign place.
foreign
Yeah.
places like LA or Las Vegas,
I
for
was
instance,
really,
right?
really-
And that letter which changed your life, which came, from Joshua Da and,
Omi
Mr.
Mama,
Yeah, and,
Mr.
that
Puri.
kind of, got you to, come to this city.
Come to Calcutta.
Come to Calcutta, and today you have made Kolkata a part of world music. Today when I was talking to a friend of mine who's French, and she said, "Who's your next guest?" And I said, "Usha Uthup." And I was about to tell her, and she said, "Oh my God, wait." And she sent me 3 songs. I said, "Marie, you listen to Ushadi?" She said, "All the time. We are dancing to her in the discos." I mean, in
Yeah.
Paris, who would think, right?
Yeah, it's
so tell me
absolutely-
about, how did you look at Calcutta then? মানে যখন তুমি এখানে আসোনি?
না আমার জন্য মানে when I was in Bombay,
Huh.
I mean, or when I first started singing, I was about 21, 22.
yeah.
And it was really strange. I always thought, as you said, that Goa and Calcutta were abroad, going abroad. Because one had heard stories of the nightlife of Calcutta and how beautiful it was and everything. And so my first visit here, after Uncle Josh and Domi Mama, they wrote me this letter from Trinkas and said they'd love me to come and sing here. I said, I remember my second or third line was, "But uncle, I don't know how to wear frocks."
Frock.
Frock, you remember that word?
Yeah, that word frock. Yeah.
So they said, "No, we just love you to come
way
the
you
way
are."
you are, so just come." So when I came here, I cannot tell you, unfortunately, that's not the Calcutta we live in now. When we landed in the airport and I got into the car and I saw the bright lights of Kolkata, even now I have tears in my eyes because, for a young girl who never imagined that I'd get an opportunity to come to Calcutta. To come here and go straight into Trinca, straight from the airport. It was something else. It was really beautiful. And I think for me, that's been one of my most milestone years, actually.
Absolutely.
Coming into Calcutta and going straight into Trinkas, listening to the music over there. And in those days, everybody was so properly dressed, to go into a nightclub.
Yeah, the coiffed hair. and-
Coiffed hair, and not only that, the chiffon
Silks
saris and the way they looked and the way they dressed,
Glamorous.
yes. And the men always in suits and,
Right,
really fabulous. And I'm not saying today is not good. I'm saying today is so different when girls wear, jeans or dresses or whatever it is. And in those days, and men, of course, today jeans has become a
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
of our culture.
Of course. Yeah.
And that's so wonderful. I'm not saying that it's bad, I think it's wonderful, but the difference was there. And a difference is palpable, absolutely.
Right. And you, I mean, change the stereotype. I think you smashed the stereotype of a girl singing in a nightclub. Because you had the who's who from, today it's the opposite. Ekhane, people come on these, reality shows, and then their next goal is always to go to Bombay.
It's so sad.
Yeah, it's so
No, it's so
sad.
sad. Another
Yeah.
thing is then main goal is to become a playback singer.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just want to tell everybody, I don't know if it's going to, come across the way I want it to, but there is only one way that it can come across. So many years ago, and I'm saying this with experience because I live to tell the tale, okay? There used to be a cake, okay? And there were 7 singers.
Okay.
In an India which had crores and crores of people.
Right.
Okay. And we had 7 singers. Lataji Mangeshkar, Asha Bhosle, Kishore Kumar, Mohammed Rafi, Manna Da, Mukesh. Who else was there? Hemanto Da, of course. Of course. All right. So that's 6. There was one more. Mahendra Kapoor. All right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then they, they ruled the roost and they ate their share of the cake.
Right.
Fast forward, we have the same, if not more, crores and crores of people.
Absolutely.
But the cake is still the same. It's the same size of cake, and there are about 1,500 singers at any given point of time wanting to eat from there.
Yeah.
Have I made myself clear?
Yeah.
So everybody's in it for the good of it, and everybody wants a bit of their cake.
Yeah.
And everybody wants their little share of their sunlight.
Yeah. But there you
No, does it
were.
make sense to you?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. I
Because so
completely
when
understand.
people think that, if you're in a reality show, the next step is going to
Bollywood.
be Bollywood or a playback singer.
Yeah.
Why? I must be the only one. When I started becoming a judge in reality shows, especially in the South, I must be the only one who ever said, you don't have to sound like Mannada because you will never sound. You don't have to sound like Dr. K.J. Yesudas. You will never be him. You don't have to be like K.S.
SP.
Chitra or S.P. Balasubramaniam or Lataji Mangeshkar because you will never be that. But you can be original and you can be yourself, and you probably will get something which is different, which will make you click with the audience.
Absolutely.
And
And
so
that was your mantra. That is
that is my mantra.
That is your mantra.
I was never in the rat race. I
Yeah.
started off as a nightclub singer. I'm proud to say I still am.
Yes.
So even now when I get a chance to sing in a Hindi film or a Bengali film or a South Indian, I'm really thrilled. I'm really thrilled because actor gaan pe, I get about 775 shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
And
I'm okay.
You've gone on record, Ushadi, to say that people should actually watch the Pada shows.
Arey, Pada
they
show.
are they are bigger than
For me-
Moulin Rouge,
For me, the Pada show, I still say it, and I will say it forever, that the West and Woodstock has learned from the Pada show.
The Pada shows.
I have sung in Chuchura, the Pada show, for more than 50,000 people at a time. More than.
Live.
Yeah, live. And I've sung in a small nightclub, so small, and it's been fantastic. I've sung in a huge place like the Salt Lake Stadium, and I got the stage at about 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, and that was the first time that people ever used what now everybody is using that, torch jalao,
Okay.
But at that time, I'm talking about 30, 40 years ago, or whenever Salt Lake Stadium was built first. I did this show and they gave me the stage only at about 4:35. 5, I think, because it was just about to be sunrise. And it was cold. and everybody was sitting on newspapers, you know, because it was cold.
Right.
But when I came on,
4 in the morning.
yeah,
Think about that.
when I came on, they took out the newspapers and lit the mashal.
Wow.
And the whole stadium was ablaze with the mashal.
Beautiful.
And this is where that lighting of the torches
Lighting
ever
of the
started.
torches.
Yeah.
So Ushati, you know, if we look at the history of Indian music, right? When it comes to the flower power generation, you know, the hippie era, as it's so called, Woodstock, and you know, the baggy pants and the bandanas and the, you know, the charas and the whole, you know, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, that thing. I mean, I know that R.D. Burman Panchamda, as he was called warmly by his colleagues, came to hear you sing.
Yes, of course.
And he said, Kuch Karte Hai, which was his trademark way of saying, come on, let's make music, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about how you, because, you know, I also know, and you've spoken about this, and thank you for doing this, because, you know, I see young girls today so wary about their body image, about their voice,
All that, yeah.
everything, you know. We are not, as you said, quote unquote, comfortable in our own skin. You had a quintessentially masculine voice, you know,
Yes,
a voice which
completely.
will never go with the heroine, you know, the goody two shoes, like a Mumtaz. Ota somebody else like Asha Bhosle
Or
is
Lata
going to
ji
sing it, right? Or
Mangeshkar,
Lata Mangeshkar ji would sing it. But to me, you were the voice of a Zeenat Aman. You know, a woman who lived on her own
Anglicized.
terms. Yeah, anglicized.
That's the
exactly.
word, yeah.
How, tell us about that era, you know?
No, that era actually encompasses quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
So, first of all, to know that I have a totally different kind of voice,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
It didn't fit into the really good girl scene in our Hindi films. And you had to have a voice like that, so gentle and so petite. And you
Coy.
had to be coy, and you had to be, even if you're suffering with pain and, you know, everything, you can't cry
Suck it
out.
up.
And, it was different. But then on the other hand, you had people like Begum Akhtar ji, whose voice was, I mean, I think my voice is like hers on the lower scale.
Right.
And then you had people like so many, Reshma ji. Okay. So on that side, knowing that I don't fit that kind of bill, one underlying factor has always been, if you can recognize your limitation, if you can recognize the fact that you have a pimple where it shouldn't be, or your eyebrows are not just so perfect, or you know, there's so many things about you which are not exactly what fits the bill of a real beauty, or this or that or the
Correct,
other.
correct, yeah.
But the minute you learn to accept that that's what it is, that's what you are, that's what who you are, and it really doesn't matter. And if you realize it as a limitation, and you turn it into your strength, then it's wonderful. Because if you know that I've always said, it's not a question of being good or bad, not a question of being a good singer or a bad singer, but how original a singer you are. And I learned that very early.
Right.
Very
right,
early.
Right.
I learned it only because my musicians, my audiences just loved me because I was different.
Yeah, you were yourself, I think.
And also I was different.
Right.
I wasn't that coy, cloying, sweet voice that they had heard so many times over. And Calcutta or Bombay or wherever I was did have a niche audience for that. They did have an audience for someone like me who was singing the kind of songs that I was singing. And so, or saying it or singing it with the kind of voice that I do have. Well, even now, I mean, when, like the day before yesterday, when I ring up room service, they always say, yes, sir. And it's okay. It's okay for me. I don't feel bad anymore. In fact, I never felt bad at all, ever. The first few times, I used to say, no, this is Usha Uthup. And they would say, yes, sir. And so it didn't matter to me, really.
Yeah.
I realized that the people who heard me on the telephone, or who heard me in certain songs, or who heard me in just conversations, are listening to me vis-a-vis the standard that they have had for so long. And the standard that they've had is, hello, give me a cup of tea. They are set in that standard, and so
It's like a conditioning.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it didn't matter to me. And I feel, okay, that's the way I am, then that's the way I am. And there's nothing I can do about it. And use it as a strength.
Right.
And how did I use a line like that? Good morning, sir, or thank you, sir, or okay, sir, it'll take me 10 minutes. And I would say, but please hurry up. Even when I said, please hurry up, they would say, which sounds very ladylike, to say, please hurry up and thank you. And they would still say, yes, sir. That made me realize that this truly is me, is a limitation. And so when I got a chance to sing in the Hindi films, it was when I was singing at the Oberoi Intercontinental in Delhi, and Devanand Saab was there, and the Navketan unit was over there, and everybody, I mean Shashi Kapoor and R.D. Burman, everybody was there. Yeah, it was really fantastic. And after the show, Devanand Saab asked me whether I'd sing in his project Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, and originally it was supposed to be. And I'm not a controversial person. I never got into big controversies. Oh, this was my song, and this was. It's okay. If people think it's my song, great. If you think it's somebody else's song, even greater. It's all right, because every singer in this world doesn't have an original song to sing, but you've got a voice and you've got a heart and you want to sing.
Right.
There is everybody in this room who is, whether they're with their group of friends, they all feel they can sing.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful, isn't it? Unlike somebody who is painting.
Yeah.
But singing is something which is so universal.
Yeah.
And everybody would want to sing because they think they can. And that's what I encourage in the audience. That's what I encourage. And that's why when I sing, say, for example, the music starts and then the minute I say, Ajeeb Daasta hai, and the whole crowd sings it.
Yes.
Yes. So there is very few people at the time when I started singing who would really encourage the audience to sing, or they probably didn't even think about it. They would come with their little books and sing the song and go away. That was the way it was. But for me, remember, if you did a rewind, if you remember, I would have told you that for me, I'm a people's person,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I can't do without people. I don't just sing. I don't just sit and sing for myself.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
I sing because I want to make you smile. Even if I have an audience of one, vis-a-vis having Salt Lake Stadium or something, for me, it's important to have one person listening to me.
Right.
There was another song which I sang for a person called, Anand Milin's dad.
Yes.
Their dad,
Okay.
Chitragupta ji.
Oh, okay.
Where it was a song for a film called Kabhi Dhoop Kabhi Chhaav. And the song went, Main bhi jalu, tu bhi jale, aaj sanam lag jagale, aag se hi aag bujhe, बाहों में आके देख ले that kind of song.
Yeah, correct.
And so when I went to Bombay, of course, first I was supposed to sing, it was supposed to be a song, a duet with Lata Ji Mangeshkar,
Really?
Damarudam, yeah.
Oh,
And
but Asha ji finally sang it.
So she was supposed to say Lata Ji Mangeshkar for Mumtaz,
Okay.
and I would have sung for Zeenat Aman.
Right.
But we rehearsed and everything, and Pancham Da, at that time I didn't know him as Pancham Da, I just knew him as R.D. Burman. I used to call him RDB. And it was he who came to listen to me. In this whole story, that is so important. To think that people actually came to listen to me. I didn't go to them to say, please listen to me or something. Yeah. Whereas now, of course, I tell all the directors, even in Bengal or wherever I am, I say, please give me a song to sing. Ekta Gandhi, please, whoever it is. And I don't feel bad in asking. Because I'm asking with a totally different mindset. I'm not asking to cut somebody out and put me in.
Correct. Yeah.
I just want to sing a song.
Yeah, you want to sing.
I just want to sing. I don't care. I don't care for what reason, for whom, for what, nothing. And so I believe always that a song is a song is a song. And if you have got some kind of mindset which says that koi yahan nache nache is something bad in your mind, That's your problem.
That's your mind block.
That's your problem,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
mine.
yeah.
Because I sing it with the same devotion.
So
Right.
Panchanda.
So I was telling you about the flower
Yeah,
power.
about the flower power.
So I
Exactly.
get this chance to sing
Right.
with in Hare Rama Hare Krishna,
Yeah.
and finally it was Asha Ji Bhosle who sang it,
Who
and
sang it?
it was very beautifully sung. But
Yeah.
people even today think it's my song, क्योंकि मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ कि दाने दाने पे लिखा है खाने वाले का नाम, और गाने गाने पे लिखा है गाने वाले का
That's
नाम.
so true.
And I think even now people think it's my song, and
Yeah,
it's great.
yeah.
So I don't go to clarify because anybody can sing anybody's song, yeah. What's the big deal?
How were you received in Bollywood? Bollywood also, the playback music industry at that time was quite dominated with stories. I mean, we've heard it years later of the fierce competition between the, two sisters, Lata and Asha. And, how it was monopolized. Just the same things we hear today, just as you said, in a different, with a different coat of paint. It's that one slice or big chunk of cake or small chunk of cake. So the thing is that how were you received? Because you didn't move lock, stock and barrel to Bombay. You were comfortable here.
In fact,
Yeah.
I'm the only singer.
Yes.
The only singer born and brought up in Bombay.
Yeah.
And made Calcutta her
Your
home.
home, exactly. So how did that work for you?
It worked fine because I met my husband in Calcutta. Oh, what more could I have asked for? I mean, he was there on my first
Yes,
night.
yes. What a
And
night
I
it
think
must
what
have
a
been.
night it was. It was just great, and he was, for people who are watching in Calcutta, your podcast, where you're famous all over and your show is. So if you're watching over here, I'd like you to know that to sing in Calcutta in those days, you had to go to Lal Bazaar, which is the police headquarters. You had to go there and sign. You had to get a license to sing in a nightclub. You couldn't sing like that. So one of the clauses, which was so amusing for me in those days and frightening, one of the clauses was, I will not solicit. Oh, wow.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Yeah,
look at that. Yeah.
So, and the next next clause was that I was not allowed to go and sit with the audience.
Oh, okay.
So we had that separate portion. If you've been to Trinkas,
Yes,
then you know.
of course.
So I couldn't meet my husband on that first day.
Okay.
Till I finished the show.
Oh.
Then he came up to me at the confectionery where I had a little table and cup of coffee, and he said, "You were super tonight."
Wow.
And then he said, "Will you sing Matilda for me?"
How lovely.
Yeah, that was really amazing. It still is one of my height of romance kind of feeling with Jani. Jani was his name, and he's an unbelievable support in my life.
Right.
So when people ask me, so how did he help? I say, by not helping. Because I think it's so marvelous when husbands don't really interfere.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he is, his ego is so large. I can't even imagine him, waiting at the door and waiting for me to finish something like this, or signing autographs or taking selfies, or he would never be able to take it. So again, my limitation became my strength.
Yeah.
I took that as okay, it's fine that he's not there. But in the beginning it was difficult. We would have fights because he wasn't coming to my shows and things like that. But then it makes for the fact that he is his own person and I am my own person.
I'm just curious, was there objection at the time of your marriage because of your profession?
Yes, actually there was objection.
Yeah.
But not so much because of, a little bit because of my profession, but more so because he's Christian and I'm Hindu.
Okay.
Okay, but from their side.
From their side.
Yeah, not from my side.
Okay.
But it was okay. And the two things which Jani and I never, ever fought about. One was religion and the other was money. We never fought. Whatever I earned, we kept in the cupboard, and whatever he wanted, he took. Whatever I wanted, I took. And, for the children and things like that. But we never ever fought about. We fought about lots of other things, but not that. That's for sure.
Right.
And I felt that those were the two very, very important things in our lives. But coming back to flower power,
Flower power,
let me tell you that at that time, there was a song called If You Go to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair.
Yes.
And it's so strange because actually we talk about flower power when truly it all started in India. Isn't it? Flowers are so important in our
So
life.
important, yeah. So quintessential to
Yes,
our daily
whether to for
Yes.
our daily wear, especially in the south of
South,
India,
absolutely.
you wear flowers all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And in the north, there's no
Right.
wedding, there's no puja,
Right,
there's
right.
no church, no nothing without
Without
flowers,
flowers,
right?
yeah.
So it's such a when I mean when people used to talk to me about flower, flower power being such a big deal, their pants used to be with flowers on it, and it all looked so beautiful. But when I look at it in retrospect, I feel flower power is Indian.
Yeah. So, a memory that I need to share with you, I just feel sort of compelled, is me, about myself. I was a very obese child, and I, had lost my father at a very young age. So I was bullied in school. And the only thing I think that salvaged me and helped me survive was music.
Oh, isn't that
And
marvelous?
Is marvelous. And I used to sing all the time. Like you said, it was my mantra of survival, of
Yes.
living, of happiness, of being. And when I was about 5 years old, Appaji, Srimati,
You don't have to say
yes,
Girija.
Girija Devi ji, Appaji, my erstwhile, late Guruji, she heard me singing a hymn, which we
Ave
would sing,
Maria.
Ave Maria, and she told my grandmother, she said, Korunadi, this child has the voice of Saraswati, so she must learn under me. And sort of Appaji's blue-eyed student. I had my
Can you
ganda
imagine?
tied, yes, and I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to sing on stage.
Gosh.
Always, And then I discovered, but I was practicing 4 hours in the morning, like Shokale Uthe, I would do the morning ragas. From school, I would come, there was a tabalchi who was coming, like a professional. But then I discovered Sydney Lauper. I discovered like Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, all these songs, because what was that? The cassette recorder. Ota theke change kori, we started having the Walkman, if you remember.
Of course.
So that was a gift to me by an uncle who lived in Jakarta. So I had that, and I was getting all this music, and suddenly I kind of almost resented this very classical, pure, where you had to sit, in a certain way. I wanted to be you. I wanted to be like this person with that voice, with that throw.
Oh,
and I remember
wow.
we used to have a hand shower in the toilet, and I was yanking it out, without any clothes on, and I was just swinging my head from side to side, and I felt powerful as a woman.
Really?
I think without realizing it, Ushadi, we're generations apart. Like I said, my
Exactly.
mom used to go to Trinkus, with my dad. They were dating in Presidency College, Stockholm, and it was a thing,
No, that's why I keep saying that I inspire fidelity.
Yes.
Because I have generations who are listening to
absolutely. But then there was the disco era, Bappi Lahiri burst on the scene, and suddenly, we were all dancing to, disco dancer and dance. And that was the thing in the bell bottoms. And I remember there was one denim store in Kolkata at Newmarket called Avis or Avis. I don't know how
Is
it's
it, or
pronounced.
was it Jean Junction?
No, it was Avis for us. And I bought these jeans, and then, we cut it up, and we were doing, all these crazy ass things. Tell me about Tomare transition time. I mean, you stood at the helm of these two, not just music revolutions. I think these were cultural revolutions.
Totally.
These were revolutions which changed mindsets of youngsters.
Yes.
From that pavam, the good Indian girl, morally,
How did you get that pavam word?
Because I lived in Bangalore for years.
Oh, you, that's so South Indian.
Yeah. So that pavam thing, suddenly we wanted to become, we were not
Do you know what
with
is
India.
pavam?
Yeah, like
Bechara.
Bechara.
No, bechara.
Bechara.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to be bechara. We want to be like the bitch, We wanted to be like, come on, slay queens, as, my sister Geru uses that word now. How
What's
is
it?
Slay queen.
I must do that because
Yeah.
I've started learning from my grandson. He keeps saying, yo, bro.
Yo, bro, and dude. I wanted to become a dude, basically. So how is it when, tell us about Bappi Lahiri, that whole era that you you stand for.
Well, actually, it would, no matter what anybody else may say, he truly was the king of
He
disco.
was the king of disco. Absolutely.
I mean, there are no two ways
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And whether he copied tunes or he didn't
Yeah,
copy,
yeah,
or he
yeah,
copied
yeah.
beats or he didn't,
Yeah.
that's not the issue. In India, he's the one who really started it.
yeah.
And even the different kinds of bass patterns, which had
patterns,
already started with R.D. Burman. You know, Bapida made that, whether he took it from Boney M or whether it was from ABBA,
He
that didn't
mainstreamed it.
matter, yeah.
Yeah.
And even though I was singing in C-grade movies, which is fine, I'm very happy that I sang in C-grade movies.
But not the music.
No, so
Yeah.
that's what I always say, that
Yeah.
even though there may have been a lobby that would say if you want a flop film on your hand, then get Usha Uthup to sing. But then there was the other lobby, the
Yeah.
maximum lobby,
Yeah.
which would say if you have a flop film, get
Get
Usha
her.
Uthup to sing because the song will lift up the...
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it so happened,
Yeah.
I was singing songs for Wardat,
Yeah.
then Arman with Rambaho,
Yeah.
then Pyara Dushman with Hari Om Hari,
Hari Om Hari.
Disco Dancer with Koi Yahan Aa
Of
Nache
course,
Nache.
my
So
favorite.
how many disco songs he's
Yeah,
given me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And no one can really deny it. And I do feel for both of these people, actually, R.D. Burman and Bapida, is the fact that in their lifetime, especially R.D. Burman, in his lifetime, he was not appreciated the way he is today.
No.
And that is so sad.
Yeah.
So
he
I
was
always
seen
say,
as ahead of his times, you know.
we all are.
Yeah.
So I keep saying, you know, give me a rose to smell when I can still smell, when we're still alive. And that's what I feel so sad about Panchamda.
Yeah.
Because even today I'm singing his song, Jaane Jaan, Dhoondta. And I get the whole audience to sing with me.
Yeah.
I'm still doing Shan, I'm still
Shan.
doing 1 2 cha cha cha.
Yeah.
There can never be replacements for that.
Absolutely.
Okay. And even if there are thousands of girls who are singing it today, which is so marvelous, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's such a great thing.
It's a revolution.
Real revolution.
Yeah.
And I think Bapida started with, I mean, I would say definitely, maybe he didn't want to say it in that many interviews, but we were the best jodi you could think of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with Hari
So
Om
many
Hari.
hit songs.
But you know, the wonderful thing about him is that he also had songs like Chalte Chalte, and then he had another wonderful song by Dr. K.J. Yesudas. I wish I had sung that song. It says, Mana ho tum behad hasi,
Beautiful.
ऐसे करे ऐसे बुरे हम भी नहीं माना हो तुम. What a song.
What a song.
What a song. So with that, and then Uri Baba, I mean, there's never been a better song than that.
Absolutely. We're still
in
jiving to
puja.
that.
So, well,
Ah.
during pujas especially.
Pujo, Vishwakarma Pujo just went.
It
It's only
never
that
goes
song.
without that.
Absolutely.
It never goes without akamaka nakamaka dum dum chakamaka
Yeah.
nagabande nagabande hey. So you know, he was a cult figure,
Yeah,
really, and
yeah,
so was
yeah,
his
yeah.
music.
Yeah.
And I wished that it was not only in C-grade movies, which I was very happy to do.
Right.
I think, you know, all these things like age, then typecasting about songs.
Just boxing a person.
It's really horrible. And I feel that, you know, my every disco song, I mean, so many disco songs of mine, all have God's name in it. Like Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, and Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam.
Yeah.
प्यार में जीना, प्यार में मरना, प्यार से लेता है उनका नाम. Radhe Shyam.
Yes.
Radhe 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 Shyam. So what's that now?
Right.
Then Hari Om Hari.
Hari Om Hari.
Hari Om. So I'm always singing God songs anyway.
Yes.
So when people ask me, I tell them that हमारे हर एक गाना भजन है. Okay. If you think it's different,
Yeah,
then
that's
it's in
your
your
problem.
mind.
It's in your mind.
And not mine.
Absolutely.
Because if we just change the beat and did ding chaka ding chaka ding chaka 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 koi yahan nache nache ding chaka ding dong. It could become a bhajan.
I know. You can totally swing it
You
your
can-
way. Now, a lot of people, you symbolize Kolkata. You know, when we talk about Kolkata outside the state, it's Rasgulla, Mishti Doi, the second Hooghly Bridge,
Satyajit Ray.
Yeah, I was just coming to that. Satyajit Ray, probably Ghatak, Mrinal Sen, and of course, Usha Uthup Didi and in fact, I consider you to be like the original Didi.
I am, of course, the
Yeah,
original
you are
Didi.
the original Didi.
Is there any doubt about that?
There's no doubt about that in my mind at all. And the bindi, tumar ko lekha bindi, it's become such a trademark
Yes,
of your
I keep
style.
saying, Amar kopale ko.
Absolutely. But I think very few viewers would know this, and I've kind of done my background research on you, that there was a time when a very well-known minister, and I'll leave it to you to say the story. Jotin Chakraborty for the viewers, he banned you.
Yes,
he tried to, and you took him to court.
Of course.
How did that happen? And and then of course, when he lost his child, you were the first to go and offer your condolences, and you later became friends. How did that happen, Ushadi? I'm sure people don't know about this.
Well, most people would probably know, but listening to a podcast makes it totally different.
Yeah.
There was this lady called Geeta De, an amazing actor.
Yes.
And she had come with a whole lot of people to my studio to ask me whether I would sing for Thakur Pukur Nursing Home for cancer. And I said, of course, Didi, how can I not sing for you? And she said, we're doing the show in Mahajati Southern, blah. I said, okay, no problem. Apparently, they went that day to get the booking for Mahajati Southern. And apparently, again, they said that no, she can't have the hall. So Geeta Di came to me next day and said, you can't sing at the...
Oh.
And I said, why? And then they said, Jatin Chakraborty has said no to you. I said, for what reason? So I went to Writers' Building. And he kept me waiting for a long time. Then he said, okay, come in. And I went in and I said, who made you the Rakhwala of Bengali culture? I don't know where I got the guts from.
Strength from, yeah.
But I asked him, who made you the Rakhwala of Bengali culture? So he says, I will never give you permission to sing in any of the government halls. Mahajati Southern, Ravindra Southern, nothing. No way, no way. I said, why? What have I done? He said, bolte habe na, you are Aposhangskriti and your music is Aposhangskriti.
My God. I mean, imagine hearing that word back then. Ekhon amra eta eto shuni Aposhangskriti.
But there was no word like that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a word called Shangskriti and anti-Shangskriti he made into Aposhangskriti.
Okay.
And so I started crying and I said, maybe this is the culture of Bengal that you are protecting, that you don't even ask a lady to sit down. He said, okay, sit down. Then I sat. Then they offered me some tea. And I said, Dada, what have I done wrong? He said, don't ask me questions. You can do what you want to do. Take me to court. So I said, okay, I'll take you to court. And I walked off. And Subhrata Roy Chowdhury, the famous lawyer, took up my case. He fought the Indira Gandhi case. And he said, okay, I'll take up your case. And we took him to court. We had filed a writ petition for fundamental rights of expression. Can you imagine? 1983.
Back in that time, huh?
83, yeah. So people shouldn't forget this, actually, that, what we did in those days. I mean, no Andolan, no nothing. And it was just fantastic, the way... I used to go to court every day, whenever I was called. And it would be reported...
For the hearing.
It would be reported in the Anand Bazar Patrika. Ajke Usha Uthup eshe chilen, Shada Shadi, Lal Pad, whatever, and Bindi and all this. And Jyoti Babu stood by me. And he said, I've got nothing to do with this because I like Usha Uthup's music.
He would come to listen to you.
Yeah, and he said, she's done so many shows for the government. I have nothing to do. So everybody backed out and poor Jatinda was alone in the white room.
He would have regretted it, I think.
And then all the lawyers also walked out. So just before that, and he didn't attend. He attended only once. And Justice Barua, I mean... that file had become like this.
Oh God.
What is Aposhangskriti? What is Aryabharta? What is this? What is that? And of course there was one line which was really nice, which I've never spoken about actually, where Subhrata said, you know, Milord. And just like now
Yeah,
what you're
yeah,
watching
yeah,
on TV. It's just like
exactly.
like the movies. I'd never seen anything like that before. They wear those black coats
Yeah,
and you know,
yeah, yeah,
Milord
yeah.
and all that. And he said, Milord, this man, pointing out to Jatinda, this man has been to the Folies in France, in Paris.
Oh.
And we both watched a can show together. So what is he talking about? I'll never forget that. And he was a bit taken
Embarrassed.
aback about
Yeah.
that. And then after the hearing was over and all that, we were in the lift together, in the elevator going down. And Shubhrata and Jatinda laughing away. I told Dada, I said, what is this? You all are friends or what? You're laughing like this. He said, all cases are like that. We're friends, we've got nothing to do. You see, we're against each other. You see, which is a big philosophy for me as well. You know, these days people don't understand it, that you may not agree with me. You may not have the same opinion as I. That doesn't make you my enemy.
Absolutely. This whole culture of intolerance that we are seeing now.
No, but
you know?
why should you think?
Yeah.
I mean, why should you think that somebody is your enemy, first of all?
Absolutely.
There's no need.
And you won the case finally.
I won. Then
But
finally,
you didn't file the defamation. You didn't go for that.
Finally, Justice Barua, within, this was done in February. By May, the case was closed.
Done.
And I won the case, and it was so marvelous. It was so marvelous.
Yeah.
But it to say in his favor, okay. Then there was another case pending, which was the defamation case.
Yeah.
And it was only for 1 rupee.
Oh, okay.
I asked for 1 rupee
Okay.
for the defamation case. But my father, who was a marvelous, the best police officer in the world, who was, you know, even mentioned in Scotland Yard, in the book of Scotland Yard. He was in Bombay, obviously, Deputy Commissioner of Police in Crime Branch. He told me, he said, Usha, now that you've won the case,
That's it. Draw the line.
draw the line now. Don't
Right,
go in for the
right,
defamation.
right.
So I withdrew the
Oh,
defamation case.
Okay.
And it was just such an, you know, a milestone for me, because
I can imagine.
I used to wonder, you know, I'm somebody's daughter, I'm somebody's wife, I'm somebody's mother, I'm your friend. Do I want things to be said negative about me? And what is it that I have sung
That is so
bad that you
derogatory.
want to?
Yeah.
So I really don't know what really made him do that or
Right,
say that,
right.
or whether somebody had, you know, charged him
yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will say about Dada, he is singularly the person who made me go in to learn Rabindra Sangeet.
Really?
Because
And you've
he
sung
said,
so many
yeah,
Rabindra Sangeet
and they
songs.
were all bestsellers.
They were all bestsellers.
And it's amazing. He said, till his dying day, he said, Usha, I hate your singing. And he said, যখন তুমি ভালো করে রবীন্দ্র সঙ্গীত গাইতে পারবেন তো উনি দেন।
But did you face
Then I
that
know.
lobby in Rabindra Sangeet music?
No.
The Suchitra Mitro.
Oh, I loved her. I think she's just fabulous. She was a real punk rock singer, you know. The haircut like that.
Haircut,
And she'd
yeah,
say,
yeah.
Ganguli mor shoibaleri dol. And the way she would say, oh, I loved her.
Okay.
No, I never faced any rejection. Actually, never faced any rejection from anybody. I don't know if there are people who, I don't think I have any enemies. I think, I feel that every singer is my friend. Because I'm so open about my appreciation for every singer.
For everyone,
I'm just hoping that everybody feels the same way towards me as well. But I started learning Rabindra Sangeet and I passed the test.
Wow.
Yes.
Vishwabharati.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Completely. And Subhash Chaudhary taught me, and Suchitra Di taught me 2-3 songs. Hemanta Da taught me 2-3 songs.
And you've sung for him?
Yes. Well, I've sung for Hemanta Da, but it was a different song.
Yeah.
It was you know, in those days people always thought that Usha Uthup means nacho, gao,
disco queen.
esho, bosho, that kind of thing. And so, but it didn't matter. The name of the film was Ajante, and the song was esho, বসো নাচো নাচো কেন পিছিয়ে আছো. Very
Right,
nice.
right,
Some of
right.
the lyrics, I think the lyrics were written by Sunil Boran.
Right,
And
right.
it was very fantastic.
Right.
I'm not sure. It could have been somebody else as well. So I started learning Rabindra Sangeet and I had some amazing, and
Mentors.
he released the album.
Really?
Yes.
What a full circle moment.
What a full circle.
What a full circle moment. You know, we are shooting at Usha Di's studio here, Studio Vibrations. And I think you were a trailblazer in the fact that you were the first singer who actually opened a studio of your own.
Yes.
And in doing that, you actually took on HMV.
Of
because
course.
they were the, you know, they had monopolized the whole recording
Yes.
system.
There was only one HMV and there was only one
And you've had
Studio Vibration.
in your own words, a love-hate relationship with them. You know, sometimes they want you, sometimes they don't want you. Same goes for you.
No, they all want me.
They
And
all-
I want HMV all the time. I have no problem.
Okay.
I have no problem with them and I have no axe to grind with anybody.
Right.
I've always been in love with HMV because HMV is the first organization where I recorded a song called Jambalaya and Greenback Dollar on a 45 RPM.
Wow.
Chota Wala.
Chota Wala,
Then
huh.
I did Scotch and Soda, then I did Love Story, then so many
So
albums with them. So I've always loved HMV,
Right.
now Saregama.
Right.
And it's been a, strange bedfellows because when there were so many other singers, then naturally they were going to other people as well to make songs. I mean, obviously, music world never stops with one person. Never
Correct.
has.
Yeah.
Music will carry on.
Yeah.
But if you've done something original in your life, it will stay forever.
Right.
So as I always say, it's not. I always say, the song is much bigger than the singer.
Well, the song is always much bigger than the singer, and Usha Di doesn't mince words. She is, like I said, a part of our Pujo campaign, which is Dare to be a Devi. And I don't mean Devi just in a moralistic or a spiritual or a religious way, but dare to be a Devi, which you've dared. And also recently, one of your news clippings went viral with Justice Chandrachud.
Yeah. Oh, but that was such a lovely moment.
Yes, you have to tell us about it.
I've never spoken about it really openly like
yes.
this because I never ever want to, be controversial or
Right,
taken out of
right.
context because, words out of context.
They do, especially today.
Yeah, but it's not like that. I mean, it was such a wonderful moment for me. I had gone to Delhi to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Vice President of India. And there was an ante-room, banquet room was where it was all happening. It was by CNN. The show was by CNN. And there was an ante-room
Right.
where all of us were sitting for tea and coffee and whatever. There was Kiran Kher, there was, who's the beautiful, she's looking, Bhumi Pednekar.
Pednekar,
She's
yeah.
looking absolutely marvelous. We were all sitting and talking. And I saw Justice Chandrachud there,
Yeah.
so excited. Is the call okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Is the call okay? And I saw him over there and I was so excited. He was with his wife. His wife is so lovely.
She's very
Such a
pretty.
lovely,
Yeah,
lovely person from inside.
Yeah.
And somebody introduced and he said, I've known Usha since, long time. I've heard her sing. in Bombay at the Talk of the Town. And then I looked at him and I said, what are you doing here? Just like how I would tell you or something. So what are you doing here? Why aren't you in court? Aren't you going to... The
Right.
whole world is waiting for your
judgment.
Or your verdict. On Kolkata. Why are you here? He said, no, that'll come tomorrow.
Okay.
So sweetly. And then he said, my favorite song. He continued as if nothing had happened.
had happened, yeah.
And then he said, my favorite songs of yours are Seasons in the Sun
Oh, how beautiful.
and Summer Wine.
Lovely.
So I said, okay, I'll sing Summer Wine for you.
Nice.
And I sang and I said, but only if you sing with me. And he sang with me. So I sang, strawberries, cherries, and an angel kissing spring. My summer wine is really made from all these things. Take off your silver spurs and help me pass some time. And I will give to you summer wine and he joined in.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it was
What a lovely
marvelous.
moment. What a lovely
What a
moment.
lovely moment.
My last question, Usha, I mean, one could go on and on. I think I'll need to have a full series. There's
Yes,
so much we have to
episodes,
talk
so
about,
much.
But aajkal ka din singers, they have the ill reputation, if I might say, of this whole, technologically we can, alter somebody's voice. During live shows, most people auto-tune, most people are lip syncing, and everything is about their bodies. I mean, their Instagram following. In fact, a friend of mine was telling me that on these reality shows, contestants are finally chosen on the basis of what is their following, on Instagram. You have smashed even that stereotype. Really, I mean, when I think about it, I mean, like, for instance, somebody recently told me, but you are so well known in what you do, but your Instagram, why is it only 7,000?
Yours.
Mine, it's got a blue tick. I said everything is organic. I don't believe in buying subscribers, buying followers, because it's not real. That's
it's not
fake.
necessary.
It's not needed. I mean, I'm secure in my own skin. You have smashed all those stereotypes also. Lip sync bolo, doing this whole
Auto-tune.
looking a certain way, auto tune. What do you feel about this now? Do you feel that, like, we remember the lyrics of songs of yesteryears, like Hari Om Hari, or even before that? They were not in our time. They were my mom's time. But my little sister who's 15 knows these songs.
Yes, they
now
all
there's
know my
no brand
songs,
recall.
all the songs
yeah,
that I
yeah.
sing.
Now there's absolutely no brand recall. What do you feel about this trend? I mean, do you feel we're actually losing, the ethos of good music?
Not necessarily good music.
Okay.
I think the youngsters today who are doing versions of the old songs, luckily for us at least, as I said, I'm a compulsive optimist. I think there are some beautiful melodies of the past which would never have been coming to as you said, the next generation, or the generation after that, if
they had not.
If the younger children are not picking up those songs for the reality shows, so it's okay. उदास मत होना कि उन दिनों में इतने अच्छे अच्छे गाने होते थे, but nobody would know a song like, say, जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या, and the songs that they have to sing to prove how good they are, or how how versatile they are. Or they would probably sing a song like Darling Aankhon Se, or they would sing another Kavali, or they would sing Mannada's song. So, that doesn't matter. I mean, I don't think it's spoiling anything. But what I do feel is, even my daughter, my grandchildren keep telling me, why don't you do, something about your Instagram? I mean, everybody knows about. See, I just did, I've been working for the LGBT shows, and the programs, and I just did one with Rani Kohinoor, who was first known as Sushant, and now she's Rani Kohinoor, and she's a brilliant singer. Allah, you can't imagine how she sings marvelously.
Beautifully,
Now, people say that, your Instagram, mine, is so bad.
So bad,
But it's okay, what am I to do? You sneeze and you say, oh, today I sneezed, and, today I've got a tennis elbow, and what's it all about? I mean, जब काम की बात हो, तो you put it on, na? Or you've released a song like, I don't know, I hope you heard that one we did with...
I was going to come to that right at the end of the show, because I think while we are, in the season of the mother, the daughter also, and the divine feminine, like I say, the Shree Shakti, the Matri Shakti, there's also an air of despondency. There's an air
terrible.
of...
You walk out,
Yeah.
it's like a gloom.
It's like a pall of gloom.
Sitting on your head.
There's also, this feeling that what are we really celebrating?
What are we celebrating?
What are we really celebrating? And your song, I think, is a song which, like many of your songs which have gone on to become anthems of cultural shifts, sociological shifts, I think the song...
Why did I choose Jagore?
Yes, why did you choose that?
I chose it because I think enough is being said about it directly. All the time. How many andolans, and how, I was glued to the television completely, because we're all thinking human beings. And what are we really fighting for? What do we really want is jagte raho, is justice, is security, is safety. What, what are we going on a tangent this way, that way, all over the place? So as far as I'm concerned, I picked this song because it was so, so symbolic. Jagre, 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 duniya jage. It's just telling people to get up and smell the coffee. Get up and smell the coffee and figure out for yourself, what are we really celebrating? What are we really talking about? I mean, everybody's scared and they're trying to hide their feelings inside. Why? Why is this happening? Why is it that we are not able to see the truth? You see, there are only three things that can never be hidden. One is the sun, one is the moon, one is the truth. And though all of us may know the truth, still. So Jago Re, Jagte from Jagte Raho, I wanted to do that all with non-singers. I didn't want to just say that, oh, I'm a great person, I'm singing this, or I wanted the people around me, all my, CCFC morning walker friends, and just normal people,
Everyday people.
Yes,
Yeah.
except for Bonnie, who is so brilliant, and Oliva, who took the song to another level. But all the friends of mine, they just stood around the mic.
How
and
lovely.
Gautam kind of guided them, and we did it. So the point is that the common man needs to know. And it's not a cliche to say the nation wants to know.
Yeah.
It's no more a cliche. I think it's when you can really, from your heart, within your heart, really look into yourself and say, wake up, utho, jago. Let us do some introspection and find out, what are we celebrating? That doesn't mean I wouldn't be doing pranam to Ma Durga.
Right.
I will still be telling her all sorts of things. I want this, I want that, I want this to happen, I want that to happen.
Like a mother.
Please let Kolkata come back to what it was.
Exactly.
Is this the Calcutta we lived in? I don't know. For me, it's not.
If
For
you're
me, it's
hearing
not.
this podcast, it's not. This is not the Kolkata. Even I grew up in. This is not the Calcutta or Kolkata of my mother's nostalgic reminiscences, of which Usha Di was such a inseparable part. And because we began this interview talking about my mother, and because no pujo for me is quite complete without Ma, the spirit and the flesh and blood person who I have lost, may I request you, Ushadi, to sing Matilda, which happened to be one of my mom's favorite songs as well. And we share grief. I believe grief is a transformative experience. The grief that we face for what is happening to our city, the grief that we face, for the loss,
For the victim as
for
well.
the victim, for her
And
parents,
her family. Let
her
us not
parents.
forget that.
Let
That
us
is the
not
mool
forget.
katha.
Yes, her family who are coming in front of TV channels with folded hands. At a time when people, usually they shop and they clean the home, they paint the home. I also want Matilda to be dedicated to Usha Di's love of her life. That first evening, which I'm sure will be etched in your consciousness forever. Like the evening that I heard so much about from Ma when she and Baba stole a kiss as you were singing at Rinkas.
Wow. Yes, but as I say, Kolkata is not the same.
No, it's not.
I feel sad.
Yeah,
I feel sad when people talk about it.
it's not.
Where are we going?
Where are we going?
And where are we headed? So when people ask me in the shows, Kolkata Gao, how do I sing that with conviction? So there's one line in that which says, Kolkata amar ma ar kichu jani na, Kolkata here jabe ta ki kore hoy, যতই বিদেশে যাই এখানে ফিরতে চাই যে টানে আমায় টানো সে কি জাদু নয়. Isn't it magic? Isn't it magic that Calcutta has this power over all of us? We will stand together
And fight.
and may Kolkata be evergreen again, ever clean again, ever safe again, and security for everybody. I think that's important.
Thank you so much.
And
It's-
Matilda.
And Matilda, yes.
Okay. As I've always said, I'm a compulsive optimist.
Yes.
So let's look to a brighter tomorrow and sing that wonderful song.
Right.
Matilda, 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 she take me money and I run to Venezuela. Now the money was to buy me a house and coat, stuck up in a pillow beneath me head. Whoa, Matilda, she take me money and I run to Venezuela. Everybody, Matilda. Jana, we really miss you. Lots of love. And to your mother as well.
Thank you so much, Ushadi. As I said, the Devi Diaries are about women who have walked the talk. And really, when I end this interview, like Ushadi, with a heavy heart, I pray for better times for my city. There's a beautiful song in Sound of Music, Edelweiss.
Yes.
You know, bless my homeland forever, bless my city forever.
Forever.
For those who have left, for those like us who are here, and for the generations to come. Thank you so much for watching this beautiful episode, this melodic episode of Straight Up with Shree. If you've liked the podcast, do subscribe to the channel, like, of course, press the bell icon and share away. And happy Shubho Utsav to all of you.